Welcome back. Right, this week we are going to discuss more about this week's cabinet meeting. Many important files were discussed, whether we're talking about on the political arena, on the economic arena, in addition to different events and situations taking place in the world. Over the phone, we have Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics at Shams University. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Doctor. So I'd like to start by focusing on the measures adopted by the government in order to rationalize the public expenditure. So could you tell us more about this and how important it is?
What we can see nowadays, Nashwa, is that the government is exerting a very big effort towards making an enabling environment for investment and to enhance the role of the private sector. We know that this is a core problem of our economy nowadays, that the participation of the private sector lately has decreased significantly. And according to that, our goals all as the government and civil society is to how extent we can activate the role of the private sector. And in order to do that, we have to eliminate all obstacles, barriers, bureaucracy, and to try to, facilitate the environment for investors. Besides, we need quite well to address public expenditure since we have a severe problem regarding, the budget and the severe deficit in our budget, as well as that we, according to such deficit, we are referring to debt, and the internal debt is nowadays a huge figure, which is actually burdening our budget, since every year we have to pay more than 600 billion Egyptian pounds as interest for internal debt. And this is actually affecting seriously our capabilities for directing resources towards health and education and, building human capital, which can be considered as very important for Egypt. When we talk about rationalizing expenditure, actually we have a lot of tools that we can refer to, and we have a lot of studies as economists, and during my, role in the Shura Council, I have tried hardly to include the idea of achieving budget-based performance and results-based management. Still, our studies, despite efforts done in the Minister of Finance, and despite that even our minister has been striving to large extent towards having a law that has been, inaugurated in 2019 to actually legalize the application of budget-based performance. Despite that, what we can see on the ground and in reality, that we are not using at all the idea of monitoring and evaluation and achieving cost effectiveness by ministers in order to rationalize our expenditure. And this can be quite, clear when you see a lot of roads in Cairo that are, can be at the same time you can have work in telephone and then in gas and then without having any kind of organization among, the governmental bodies responsible for all these services. And from here it comes that this is quite essential for this period, because we are in deep need to rationalize our public expenditure, as well as trying to reduce the budget deficit and according to that, to ease the burden of internal debt.
Doctor, also the government is giving much concern talking about the Egyptian citizen and their needs for the basic commodities at suitable prices. This also was mentioned in addition that we can see now many of the outlets taking place. We have also the one that has Ahlan Ramadan. We know that next month, the holy month of Ramadan is approaching. So also there were talks about this and many efforts exerted to provide basic commodities with affordable prices.
Yes, Nashwa, and this is great efforts actually that we can see all and is going every day since we are trying to reduce the impact of devaluation of the Egyptian pound on the price level, specifically, like you mentioned, on basic commodities. And from here it comes that the government is exerting quite good efforts towards organizing with, commerce unions in order to provide basic needs and basic goods for the majority in different areas with what we can say as, modest price or prices that can cope with the situation of the needy persons and even middle class in Egypt. And I believe that this is quite important, but what is more important than that is to activate production and to help the informal sector, because informal sector, Nashwa, is existing everywhere in Egypt, in every governorate, and they can, if you address them properly, they can add to the productive capacity in Egypt in a very good way, specifically when we talk about this food industry, the necessary productions that can be on a daily use as consumed on a daily basis. I believe that if you activate the role of this informal sector, they can add a lot to the productive capacity, and at the same time you are enhancing their capacity for employment so that you can address severe problems in Egypt. So this can be, from my point of view, more important, or we can do it on a parallel way so that we can, enhance the productive capacity, which can be regarded as a very important way to address inflation in Egypt. I would like to add something that is quite important regarding press conference that has been done by our Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Maddouli, yesterday. This was quite important regarding the efforts that are done in Egypt nowadays by the government to enable good environment for investment and to encourage the private sector. And we can introduce the idea of golden license provided for the projects that are willing nowadays to invest in Egypt, specifically those in the field of exportation or those who can produce the product instead of importing them. So I believe we have to set priorities regarding such projects as a government. And then the second part is the golden license nowadays has been provided for more than 9 projects, and our Prime Minister declared that he is opening the door for more investors to come and to apply for such licenses so that we can activate the role of the private sector and attract foreign direct investment. Another point is the declaration for the project of IPO, and this is quite important. We are looking for that for more than 3 years nowadays without being able to do such, initiative that is, can be regarded as quite important to activate the role of the private sector and to inject new blood in the market so that you can attract more investment. We have, Nashwa, a lot of capabilities and opportunities in our market. We are a very large market, more than 100 population, as well as nowadays our infrastructure can attract investors because we have very profitable potentialities for profitable projects. And I believe that this initiation regarding the program of IPO that is going to be declared according to our Prime Minister next week, inshallah. I believe that this is going to enhance the stock market, the role of stock market, as well as it has been mentioned that a part of this IPO is going to be addressed in the stock market, and another part is going to be delivered to strategic investors, which means that a lot of possibilities and potentialities for investors, I can regard that as a very important step for the environment of investment in Egypt.
Right, Doctor, still we have more to be discussed, but just allow me to move into a very quick break, then we'll be back.